I think this is one of the craziest news stories I think we've ever heard.
I did feel a little bummed that there wasn't any discussion prior to me being fired. However, I was a bit blindsided. I can't even lie. Like, I was not expecting to be fired.
If she's doing her job, she's doing a great job at what she's doing. Leave it at that, man.
Rachel Demita just got fired from the Big Three on Tuesday night, and the reason is downright shocking. 3 tweets about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever during broadcast cost her the job she had excelled at. Was this about professionalism, loyalty, or something deeper?
This is one of the most insane stories I think that I've ever heard.
Rachel Demita, the beloved face of Big Three sideline reporting, is no longer part of the league. Fired. And the reason is nothing but tweets about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. It feels surreal, doesn't it? How could a few clicks on her phone cost someone their career? But that's exactly what happened, and it's left everyone, from her loyal fans to sports enthusiasts, shocked and questioning the bigger picture.
I was not expecting to be fired for that reason.
Rachel's firing isn't just a random HR decision. It's a controversy that's rippled through the sports world and social media. People are furious, confused, and frankly, heartbroken. How did we go from celebrating Rachel's vibrant energy on national broadcasts to watching her post a YouTube video explaining her termination? The stakes here aren't just professional, they're personal, emotional, and dare we say, political.
This is a bit of a crazy conclusion to jump to, but at the end of the day, look, it's what comes to the territory, not comes to the territory, but it happens in the industry. This is a video I would rather have not made, but at the end of the day...
Let's take a step back and talk Rachel Demita first. She isn't just any reporter, she's a personality, a presence. The kind of person who lights up a broadcast and makes viewers feel like they're courtside, living the moment with her. From her early days on YouTube to becoming a household name in sports reporting, Rachel built a career on authenticity and connection. Fans loved her because she wasn't just reporting the game, she was part of it.
I'm going to have to still talk about this because, let's be real, I made videos about Cheryl Swoops being let go from the Dallas Wings.
Her work with the Big Three was no different. She wasn't just another face holding a mic, she was a crucial part of the league's storytelling. Rachel brought the energy, the excitement, and the relatability that helped the Big Three connect with its audience. And that connection wasn't just surface level, it was deep, real, and powerful. Fans tuned in because Rachel was there, making them care about every play, every player, and every moment.
It's true, I did send out 3 tweets about the Indiana Fever versus New York Liberty game during the Big Three broadcast.
But let's get back to the tweets that started it all. During a Big Three broadcast, Rachel posted about a competing WNBA game featuring the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. The tweets weren't scathing or controversial.
I tweeted this highlight 3-pointer of Caitlin Clark, and it said, "For those who question the hype," and that was a tweet that directly came from me.
One was a highlight of Caitlin Clark with the caption, "For those who question the hype."
Then I retweeted a Nike basketball tweet, and then I also retweeted when the Indiana Fever won the game.
Another was a retweet of Nike basketball and updates about the Fever's win. These weren't random or malicious. They were Rachel being Rachel, celebrating basketball in all its forms.
Stephen A. Smith on Twitter for doing something very, very similar. So at the end of the day, well, not for doing something very, very similar. I think what Stephen A. Smith did was significantly worse, but he's just Stephen A. Smith. He can get away with it.
Yet those tweets were enough to set off alarm bells at the Big Three.
They said it has come to Big Three's attention that Miss Demita was posting on her social media platforms during this past weekend's Big Three games and promoting the competing New York Liberty versus Indiana Fever WNBA game that was being broadcast at the same time.
In a late-night email, the league accused Rachel of a severe lapse in judgment for promoting a competing league's game during their broadcast. The tone was harsh, the words stinging.
The league provided her with unique access and opportunity to be a focal point on national broadcasts, so management was completely taken aback to learn that she was posting about another league's games while in the midst of rendering services.
The league had invested in Rachel as a focal point for their national broadcasts, and they felt betrayed. But here's the kicker. Rachel hadn't even signed her contract for the season. She was working in good faith, assuming everything would be finalized. Rachel admitted fault. She took it on the chin, as she put it. She understood that her timing wasn't ideal, and she apologized.
I didn't hear from anybody. There was no talks about it. And I wasn't under the impression that those tweets would do any severe harm to the Big Three or anybody would think any type of way about it.
But what she couldn't wrap her head around, and what fans can't either, is why it escalated so quickly. No conversations, no warnings, just a termination letter at 11 p.m. It feels cold, doesn't it? Unfair even. Especially when Rachel was still doing her job, conducting interviews, reporting from the sidelines, and promoting the league in her own way.
I think in general, this is kind of a crazy thing where it's like,
Fans have been quick to rally behind her, flooding social media with support and demanding answers from the Big Three. Was this really just about the tweets, or is there more to the story? Some speculate that the league overreacted, trying to send a message about loyalty. Others think it's a reflection of the pressure leagues face to compete for attention in an ever-crowded sports landscape.
I was fired from the Big Three, and my team received an email at 11 p.m. on Tuesday with a letter that essentially said that I had been terminated.
Let's talk about the moment Rachel Demita's career with the Big Three came to a screeching halt at 11 p.m. on a random Tuesday. Yes, the league chose the middle of the night to deliver the news like they were dropping a Netflix thriller bombshell. An email landed in her inbox, not with a polite, "Hey, can we chat?" but a corporate gut punch wrapped in legalese. The accusation? Promoting a WNBA game while on Big Three duty. Scandalous, right?
The league is extremely dismayed and disappointed by Ms. Demita's severe lapse in judgment while performing services for the league.
According to the email, Rachel had committed a severe lapse in judgment. Severe? Let's pause here. We're talking about tweets, not nuclear codes. The league's tone was so harsh it practically screamed betrayal, like Rachel had been caught rooting for the other team during a championship game. But let's be real. Was this about professionalism or some deeper insecurity on the league's part? Fans were left scratching their heads, trying to connect the dots.
Tweeted a selfie and I said, "Let's work," and I tagged the Big Three and CBS Sports.
And here's the kicker. Rachel wasn't just tweeting about the WNBA. Earlier in the day, she posted a work-related selfie tagging the Big Three and CBS Sports. So while the league was accusing her of betrayal, she was actively promoting their broadcast. The irony is almost too rich. It's like being accused of cheating on a test while you're sitting at the teacher's desk helping grade papers.
And I wasn't under the impression that those tweets would do any severe harm to the Big Three or anybody would think any type of way about it.
Now, let's get to Rachel's response, which honestly is why people love her. She didn't lash out or deny anything. Instead, she owned up to it, saying, "I was not expecting to be fired. I felt blindsided." And can we talk about that word, blindsided? It hits different, doesn't it? Because this wasn't just a surprise. It was a full-on ambush. No warning, no conversation. Just an email at 11 p.m. saying, "Thanks, but no thanks."
I'm not making excuses. I'll take it on the chin. It's my bad. I apologize for that.
Rachel admitted her timing wasn't perfect. She even apologized, saying it was her bad.
There could have been some sort of discussion because I feel like something like this could have been easily nipped in the bud.
But what stings, and what stings for her fans, is how the league handled it. A simple, "Hey Rachel, can we talk about these tweets?" would have probably solved the entire issue. Instead, they went full scorched earth, skipping straight to termination. It's like breaking up with someone via text after 2 years of dating. Harsh doesn't even cover it.
But at the same time, we take it on the chin, we move on. I have never been fired from anything in my life, and now I guess I can say I have been fired.
This wasn't just a professional blow for Rachel, it was personal. She's never been fired in her life. Think about that for a second. Never. She's built an entire career on being dependable, relatable, and most importantly, professional. And then in one swoop, that streak ended. Not because she messed up an interview or missed a deadline, but because she posted a few tweets.
I also just wanted to point out, I hadn't signed a contract yet for this season. My agent was still in talks to make sure just everything was settled out, and we were just working in good faith.
Let's start with the plot twist that no one saw coming. Rachel Demita didn't even have a signed contract for the current season. That's right. She was out there reporting games, interviewing players, and representing the Big Three, all while her contract was still in negotiation. Talk about commitment, right? She was working in good faith, trusting that the league would finalize the paperwork. And how did they repay her? By firing her over a couple of tweets. You can't make this stuff up.
Felt like I did a great job there, and I felt like I did a pretty good job during season 1 when I was with them as well.
Here's the thing. Working without a signed contract is a huge leap of faith. It's like showing up for a marathon without knowing if there's a finish line. Rachel trusted the Big Three, assuming that everything would work itself out. She even covered the Big Three draft in the first weekend of games as if she had already signed on the dotted line. And what did she get for her loyalty? A termination email that might as well have said, "Thanks, but we're good."
Yeah, it is just a crazy one. It is a crazy one because I don't think anyone thought this was going to happen.
The implications here are wild. Terminating someone who isn't even officially under contract? That's not just awkward, it's messy. It raises all kinds of questions about professionalism and how leagues handle their talent. Rachel herself put it best. "I trusted them and this is what happened." That one stings. But if you thought Rachel's firing would quietly fade into the background, think again. The internet had other plans. Social media lit up like a Christmas tree the moment the news broke. Fans rallied behind Rachel, and the hashtag started rolling in. Justice for Rachel. Rachel deserved better. You name it. And they weren't just supporting her, they were calling out the Big Three for overreacting.
To get fired for tweeting about the WNBA, honestly, I don't even feel like the Big Three and the WNBA are competitors.
Viewer polls and comment threads exploded with criticism. People pointed out how ridiculous it was to fire someone over tweets, especially when those tweets were about celebrating Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. And let's not forget the WNBA's rising popularity. Caitlin Clark is a bona fide superstar, and the Fever's win was a big deal. Supporting that isn't a crime. It's just being a fan of basketball.
If she's doing her job, she's doing a great job at what she's doing. Leave it at that, man. It's fine. I don't see a big deal.
But the backlash wasn't just about Rachel. It was about what her firing represented. In a world where leagues are constantly vying for attention, this situation felt like a cautionary tale. The line between personal and professional social media use is blurrier than ever, especially for sports journalists. Rachel's story became a case study in what can go wrong when leagues fail to adapt to the digital age. Think about it. Social media is where the game never ends. It's where fans, players, and journalists connect, celebrate, and debate. But it's also where misunderstandings can spiral out of control. For Rachel, tweeting about another league's game wasn't an act of betrayal. It was just her being her, sharing the sport she loves. The Big Three, however, saw it differently, and that disconnect turned a small issue into a full-blown controversy.
She's big, man. She's big.
So what does this mean for the Big Three? Well, let's just say their image has taken a hit. Firing someone like Rachel, who was a fan favorite and a major draw, doesn't exactly scream good PR. And as leagues compete for attention in an oversaturated sports market, incidents like this can have long-term consequences. Future collaborations with media personalities might now come with an asterisk. Proceed with caution. But let's shift gears and talk about Rachel's response, because if there's one thing she proved, it's that she knows how to handle a tough situation with grace. Instead of lashing out, she accepted responsibility for her actions. She admitted that her timing might not have been ideal and apologized for any misunderstanding. But she didn't shy away from expressing her disappointment either.
And I'm seeing a lot of people speculating that there had to have been something else. At least from my side, I know of nothing else as to the reason why I was fired. That was the reason. You heard what I said in that email.
Her fans, she thanked them from the bottom of her heart. Rachel's gratitude for their support was genuine and heartfelt. It's clear that she values her audience and their connection to her. And while she's moving on, she's not forgetting the lessons this experience taught her. Balancing authenticity with professionalism is a tricky dance, but Rachel's determined to get it right moving forward. So what's the takeaway here? It's not just about Rachel, the Big Three, or even Caitlin Clark. It's about the broader challenges and opportunities in sports media. This incident highlights the power of fans to hold leagues accountable and the importance of communication and mutual respect in professional relationships. As for Rachel, her story is far from over. If anything, this is just the beginning of a new chapter. Because if there's one thing we've learned from this saga, It's that Rachel Demita isn't just a sideline reporter, she's a force to be reckoned with. And something tells me we haven't seen the last of her yet. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to get more updates because more details are yet to be discussed.